Hey everybody. Welcome to our Comic Creators webinar. Our goal here is to give you some insights to help you with your multifamily asset management in 2026, um, and let you know how you can dive deeper with us into our expert asset management panel on Thursday, July 16th at our quarterly meetup.
Yeah, just a little bit about us. I'm Michael Weberly. Appreciate you guys taking time to watch this. Over the last 3 years, we've acquired three properties in North Carolina. We're going to kind of go over some of the lessons we've learned in that experience to kind of set things up for our main meeting here in July. So the reality of today's market, the days of the 2% expense, 3% annual rent growth are no longer. And so you continually need to adapt and change to what the market predicts. You know, we're in North Carolina, one's Jacksonville, North Carolina, one's in Durham, North Carolina. Our Durham, North Carolina market, that market's constantly changing with rents, concessions, just local laws. So we're constantly having to adapt to change in that market. Where our Jacksonville properties, the markets there relatively stayed the same. There's not a lot of concessions, not a lot of rent adjustments up or down. So you're really adapting to the change of whatever the market brings you.
And so part of that changing is understanding the current pressures and what we call the asset management squeeze. You have um, revenue pressures as rent growth decelerates or has in certain markets. Multifamily operators are dealing with significant revenue changes and challenges. It's crucial to implement effective strategies that ensure stability and strong performance as market conditions shift and tenant expectations evolve. Um, Next, you have the pressures, with rising operational costs, especially in areas like maintenance, utilities, insurance, vigilant expense management becomes essential. Asset managers really need to keep a close eye on these expenses and safeguard your NOI, your net operating income, to maintain profitability. Finally, let's consider capital pressures. It's vital to engage in strategic capital planning, balancing what your immediate needs are versus long-term growth objectives to enhance asset performance overall. What is needed now in order to really move the needle with your leasing during a heavy leasing season versus what do you need to budget for next year and what can you push off later in part of that planning. These pressures create what we call the asset management squeeze, and understanding the current pressures is key to navigating the challenges that you're running up against.
The biggest mistake in asset management is managing with outdated assumptions. Modern asset management requires embracing continuous engagement and real-time decision making. This shift is essential to adapting the ever-evolving market landscape and achieving long-term operational success. One point to consider the importance of leveraging technology to embrace decision-making processes. Utilizing data analytics tools can provide valuable insights, allowing for more informed and timely decisions in asset management. I think a really good tool is using AI to leverage what's happening in your market. Rent comps, I think, would be a good way to leverage tools there, as well as leveraging AI of the KPIs your team sends you. Jordan will talk about it here in a second.
Yeah, so here you'll see a AI generated version of a KPI dashboard. We have one that we update daily, weekly. What do you need to be tracking? Daily work orders to make sure your maintenance team is on top of it. Weekly, you need to be tracking leads. You need to be looking at your income, delinquencies, what leases do you have, what move-ins, move-outs. Track those resident reviews. That all kind of ties back into your maintenance requests and things. If you can keep your residents happy, they'll be talking good about your property, and how can you track that in order to keep them satisfied, keep them taken care of at the property. And then your monthly KPIs might be Again, your income, expenses, where were you over budget, under budget, how long are units vacant, how long it's taking you to turn those units. Um, One thing that we're going to offer you, if you sign up for our July 16th event, we wanted to give you a blank copy of a KPI dashboard if you don't have one that you can get started with. And again, like Michael said, be utilizing some AI tools in order to help populate that stuff and really give you some nice visuals on there as well.
Kind of the four areas to focus on when you're looking at expenses. Payroll's a huge one. If you've worked with property management or you're working with property management, they're always, wanting to hire more people to do the things they should be doing. So constantly optimizing the staff's time so they're not needing additional employees. Also optimizing for, watching overtime and making sure they're not just working a ton of hours on overtime. Um, the next thing to consider is contracts, regular evaluation of vendor agreements, and some of those could be you know, laundry, pest, trash, or not trash, landscaping, as well as on an annual basis. Moving over to utilities, putting in energy efficient savings promptly can lead to substantial cost reductions. This proactive approach not only saves money, but also contributes to the sustainability goals, improves operational efficiency. And then finally, review your insurance coverages annually, talk with your broker, talk with other brokers, and kind of see what makes sense wise for your property to see if there's any way you can save money there.
Um, some early warning signs that you want to look out for. They can be indicators of potential issues within property management. So I wanted to break down a couple of those. You have first, increased concessions. It could indicate weakened tenant demand, market pressures. Um, Sometimes in the market that it's just going to be very competitive, and you'll have to have concessions. But it could mean that it's time to reassess your pricing on your rents. Maybe those need to be adjusted. Secondly, be mindful of payroll creep. A little bit like Michael talked about, uncontrolled growth in payroll can really reduce profitability and inflate operational expenses. Um, Thirdly, rising delinquency. The rising delinquency can indicate looming cash flow challenges. If you're not collecting that money, you're going to run into some of those cash flow issues. Growing maintenance backlog could really point to a resource constraint. Do you need more maintenance help, or is the work that's getting done not being done correctly and things are breaking over and over again? So that's something to look into. Utility spikes are another big red flag. They might reveal inefficiencies in energy management practices, or maybe you have some larger issues at stake. Leaking toilets can be a huge, huge thing for you. So maybe you need to swap those out or get those serviced, have those checked. Um, and then lastly, lengthened turn times can be a sign of operational inefficiencies as well. If you can streamline those processes, help improve turn times, you can enhance overall property management efficiency.
So what makes an average operator different from a top performer? Average operators tend to rely on outdated metrics, often find themselves responding to challenges as they arise rather than anticipating them. This reactive approach can lead to inconsistencies in tracking key performance indicators, which are crucial to effective management. On the other hand, top performing operators embrace advanced data analytics that don't just monitor the KPIs, they do it daily, ensuring they are on top of the game, proactive approach, integrating and achieving operational excellence and maintaining a competitive edge. Another significant difference is the emphasis on expense management. Top performers regularly audit their expenses and contracts, ensuring they are getting the best value and maintaining efficiency. This fosters a culture of continuous improvement and always looking for ways to enhance operations.
And we'll get into some more at our meetup, but some actionable items that you can look at right now. Look at your contracts. Do you have laundry contracts in place? Is that profit split good for you? Are you making money off of those, or are you spending money on that amenity? Again, landscaping, that's probably something that you check annually, but are they creeping up on their prices, and is the quality control going down? Pest control can be another thing that you can change out pretty easily. Make sure that they're staying honest and staying competitive there. And then implement a weekly dashboard to track performance metrics. Again, your leads to appointments, your leads to showings, your leads to applications, and your number of leads to net leases are some good things to look at. You want to look at work order completion. How quickly are they getting done? Are they getting done in 8 hours? What percent's getting done in 24 hours, 48 hours, or extending out into multiple days to where you need to address that issue and find out what's happening, why it's happening, and see what you can do to change that. Um, Economic and physical occupancy you want to be looking at on a weekly basis, and then again, turn time. And then identify your top expense drivers to optimize your budget management as well.
Like we kind of mentioned at the beginning of this webinar, we do have a meetup coming up here in July 16th. We've got three great asset managers here in Middle Tennessee. We have Eddie Austin, Mike Taravelli, and Jason Urisi, who mentored Jordan and I, and that's how we got our start. It's going to be, like I said, July 16th from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. at Magnitude's Manufacturing, Art, and Identity. It's here in Nashville. If you're familiar from Nashville, it's right by Geodis Park. It's $25, and dinner and drinks are included. You can register at commoncreators.com or scan the QR code. And if you use the code SAVE5, you can save $5 off your registration.
Yeah, and then, on that panel, it won't just be the panel up there talking. We're going to definitely open it up for questions. They'll be talking about their industry challenges and strategies that they're using, but you'll be able to engage with them and ask some questions that are maybe pertinent to your specific case. And I'd love to see what they can come up with to provide some solutions for you. Obviously, there's going to be networking there. People in the real estate industry and all facets of it are going to be there. New people, just getting into it, seasoned veterans that have been operating these assets for many years, and the other trades as well. And hopefully you'll be able to gain some actionable takeaways from this panel as well, to again be able to implement right into your business and into your property so that you can maximize your NOI in today's market.
And then if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. You can email us at contact@commoncreators.com or go to our website, commoncreators.com. Thank you so much for joining us today.
See you guys.